Welcome back to the farm, everyone. It is going to be a gusty one today, and a painful one if I don't stay out of Dad's way. He's like a freight train without brakes. We're all caught up on spraying, thankfully, because it is windy. I have seen a lot of people in the countryside spraying this morning. You are technically off label. I could understand with a lot of rain in the forecast over the next week why someone would spray today. Not legal, just necessary, even though it is against the label. I'm not going to comment any farther than that. Everyone has the right to make their own decisions, and I'm also not the police. As I've mentioned numerous times, when it comes to spraying criticisms, people with glass houses should not throw stones. And hypothetically, my house on occasion is made of glass. We get to partake in another round of the funnest job on the farm, replanting soybeans. A few more thin spots showing up. We're gonna go just drop more beans in, throw more fuel at the fire, hopefully get a adequate stand. That way we don't have to deal with weed issues. Replanting soybeans is sort of like going to the dentist. You really don't enjoy doing it. You do recognize that it's probably necessary, at least occasionally. We've got a bunch of beans in here. Dad and I just loaded them in by hand. And rock and roll. I sprayed these beans 2 days ago now. They seem to have greened back up pretty fast, even though they are herbicide tolerant. With some of the products we add to the mix, the residual chemistries, the foliar stuff, the surfactants, they do seem to yellow out for a while. I'm at the first field getting primed and ready to run. Technically, this one isn't even replanted, it's planting the first time. When I came out here, it was still wet in this river bottom, so I left it. The other day when I was spraying, I sprayed my post pass, which equivalent to a burn down out there. And I'm gonna plant my way down along the trees here where the deer have been eating every morning and night. Try to plant that in. This is one of those spots where I don't believe we make any money farming it. It's just tilled ground that we pay property taxes on, so we're gonna farm it out of principle, or at least that's the way I interpret Dad's opinion of it. We don't make any money on anything past the dog leg there, I would say. You need wide open fields to be profitable unless you're going to cut expenses. And we manage this farm just like everything else. By the time you deal with the lackluster soil, the trees engulfing the whole area, the flooding in the river bottom multiple times a year, and the deer eating, I don't even know if I said that yet, you're not going to yield a lot out here. If these make 50, we'd be lucky, and 50 bushel beans don't really pay the bills this year. I'm heading to what will now be my 5th field of replant. I've probably put in 10 acres total. The worst part about going out to replant is most of the time the area that needs replanted isn't right in the entrance. It is either out in the field somewhere, or it's not along an opening or a shallow road ditch you could cross. So you almost have to plant your way through good beans to get to the bad beans. I drop my population in the good beans to about 100,000 just to make up for any damage I do. And then once I get to the thin spot, I'll drop 200,000 just so I don't have to come back and replant them again, hopefully. If you can't tell by the grass blowing in the ditch, the wind has picked up significantly. I've not seen any more sprayers running, which is probably for the best. I know a lot of guys went out this morning before it really picked up and tried to cross off as many fields before the violent windstorm. Allie texted me just a couple minutes ago and said, "I don't think you're going to be spraying today." To which I responded, "Yeah, I knew that 3 days ago. I've been watching the wind forecast. That's why we sprayed when we did. It was better to spray on cooler days and get our product down safely versus today, which is going to be the warmest day, theoretically one of the best conditions to spray Liberty glufosinate on growing weeds, except it's going to be too windy." That's the hard part about spraying, is not only do you have to worry about the products in the tanks, the crops you're next to, crop stages, ground conditions, you also have to know what the wind speed's going to be that day or the days ahead of you so you can plan accordingly. We've had some ongoing tile issues in this corner. This winter we had another main put in and a lot of excavating done through here, so it's a complete mess. This is the best stand of beans we've ever had in this corner. It looks not as good from the camera as it actually is because the beans are small and I just ran a bunch of them over. We got a pretty decent emergence, especially because it was kind of mud when I planted this. Another winter or two and some tillage on top of this, we may actually grow a crop out here. The state of Illinois is also mowing the roadsides right now. You never know with them. They'll go through periods where they won't mow for a whole year because Springfield, the capital of Illinois, being a little liberal, says they don't want to mow. Then they'll spray stuff because spraying becomes superior. And then the last 2 years they've mowed very aggressively. I don't get paid enough to know what they're up to. They probably got better benefits than I. Dad stopped by, helped me load some more replant beans in. A few of these spots I've actually already replanted once and they're coming. There's other areas where I probably should have spotted them in the first time. I just didn't realize it until I was out here yesterday or 2 days ago spraying and decided it was time to go. Those earlier replants are coming through right now, and this ground for the first time this year is dry about an inch down. It is howling outside right now. When I'm planting upwind, I can hardly see because the dust is racing the tractor ahead. It's like a smoke screen. You might as well be replanting in the middle of the night. I can't see anything. Got a couple more to do and then we're done for now. Some of our last planted beans definitely have questionable spots, like right there. The later planted corn, other than what Dad tapped in the other day, looks pretty good. It's not perfect, just as good as it's gonna get for this year. Woo! Look at that soil blow. You can tell where I was replanting based on the powder coming up now. Dad stopped by once more, gave me a few more bags of beans. Some of these fields, like this one I'm in right here, we've still got beans trapped underground that haven't broken their neck yet. If it rains tonight or tomorrow, we're probably out here too early. Dad has always been a guy when it comes to soybean populations that would rather have way too many than just a hair too little. When it comes to weed control, especially on some of our lighter soils. Again, it may be premature. This is what we're doing. The nice thing about having a big planter is that you get it planted really fast the first time, like a couple weeks ago, and then when it's time to replant, it takes less time to replant it because you got a big planter. That's the science to this rig right here. That project is finished up, or better yet, tabled for later. Dad and I are gonna shut the barn up and then go check a few more fields to see what we're gonna do after this rain. Hopefully it rains, because I would imagine some of those beans I just planted, if not laying on top of the ground, are in dry dirt in the ground. Out here in the countryside, the weather does not wait for anyone. If the power goes out during a storm or a heat wave, we still have things that we need to keep running around the farm and in the house, depending on what's going on. The constant, unpredictable chaos of dancing with Mother Nature is exactly why we've started keeping around Jackery's battery backup products. The Solar Generator 2000 V2, for instance, is a compact portable power station that keeps my essentials running for up to 2 days. In one of those chaotic blackout scenarios, I can still run whatever essentials I deem fit, like Wi-Fi, fans, coffee makers, without even thinking twice. That's just inside the home. Outside the home and around the property, you can do other things. Operate doors, fuel pumps, the list is endless. It's even got a built-in UPS, so everything switches over automatically within 20 milliseconds. I can't even process the power being out of my brain that quickly. The Jackery 2000 V2 is really hard to beat. It is the lightest 2 kilowatt hour competitive unit out there. It's super easy to move to where I need it at the time. If the 2000 is a little bit overkill for what you're needing, the Jackery Explorer 3000 is the perfect fit. When I'm in the field or just out working, the Explorer 300 is my go-to. It's small, light, and easy to move around, something worth keeping in your truck at all times. It is especially useful for charging phones, batteries, even running a small light if you need to check on things after storm damage or any other scenario. It's reliable backup power that I hardly even notice I have in the truck. These two units pretty much cover all of my bases, the E300 for the field and the 2000 V2 for the house. Whether I'm prepping for storms or just trying to keep things running smoothly, Jackery's made it simple with their awesome battery backup solutions. If you are even remotely interested in products like this, now is the best time to make the jump. Jackary has a whole host of absolutely bin buster deals with Prime Day going on right now. You can get up to 65% off certain products. There's even more savings to be unlocked if you use my code here on the video or follow the links to add these products to your cart. I'll leave you with one last reminder. It's Prime Day and the best time to gear up with Jackery's essential home backup solutions. They have a variety of things for a lot of different purposes. Use the codes, follow the links, and add them to your backup solutions and keep your house running smoothly from storms to hurricanes to heat waves. You never know what's going to happen. I recommend you check it out. I've really enjoyed having their products around our house and on our farm. I think you'll like them too. Thanks to Jackery for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the regularly scheduled programming. The wind is going to lay just enough this morning that we can spray, assuming we don't get rained out. I can't tell if that's rain over there or haze from the wildfires coming down from Canada. It's become a yearly occurrence down here, and it's keeping things cool, which may be a good thing. That looks like rain, but I've been driving into what looks like rain. I've not had a drop on the windshield, so it must just be a fog or the haze I mentioned. Here's a surprising tidbit of news. In the last video, I showed you how my NORAC sensor, the left inside one here, was showing no communication. I had to unplug and plug it back in while the machine was on to get it to work. I finished spraying that day, shut it off, shut the battery off, came to the next morning. It works perfectly fine. Couldn't explain that to you at all, but that's okay, I'm not complaining. It's probably a sign that the sensor's going bad. They go bad pretty frequently. Their shelf life is not very good. I'm not going to change it until it actually completely quits. I can spray without it most of the time. Let's get it. Everything's on. Always got to do like a quadruple check to make sure I don't have a section turned off on purpose, forgot to put it back on, or have my reclaim system on because that drops my pressure, makes me under apply. Looks good other than it being a little shady outside right now. Here comes Jeff. We're going to top off and then finish this. I don't think we have any other fields that are safe to spray today with the wind. It's been kind of a little rascal the last few days. Looks like something's going on over there. I better go check it out. Spewing liquid somewhere. I can tell based on this spraying that it's not a plug. Oh yeah, that nozzle body's broken. How did that happen? I didn't hit anything. Huh. Well, good thing I brought a spare nozzle body. I've been going through a lot of those lately, unfortunately. Those are adding up quick on the line items. I caught the screw in my little fold. It's like a little storage pouch. Broker. See that? Sticks up into the wet boom here, and I definitely hit something. The longer I let this drip, the less chance any beans grow in this specific spot next year, and possibly the following year. 2 bean years from now. These corn chemicals are no joke. I'll look at this spot next year and wonder, why aren't there any beans here? Not having any recollection of opening up the boom and dribbling some right there. It doesn't seem like that much liquid on the ground when you consider I'm just putting a very fine film across the entire field and not only killing what weeds are up, but preventing weeds from coming up for probably at least 6 to 8 weeks. This stuff is very powerful. One of these days we're going to stop hitting the ground. This will be my last round where the bean field is upwind, so once I turn back and head the other direction, or maybe another round over, I'm going to bump up speed a little bit. Just keeping the pressure down, reduce the risk of drift. The rain has been moved up in the forecast to probably an hour to an hour and a half from now. I decided to spray one more field. I clocked the wind, 78 mile an hour max, so we're still on label with our herbicides. I went to unfold my boom, and I was greeted by a strange noise and the right side not unfolding, and that's why, because this is supposed to be attached to that. I think I can unfold it by hand, assuming I'm strong enough, and then once it's in, the pin should latch it. I'll just have to fold it back by hand as well. I don't know if I'm gonna have to take this whole cylinder off and take it into town, have John Deere work on it, or what's gonna happen. I may get Dad's opinion after I finish this last field. Good thing we had our weed eat this morning. I don't see any reason why this won't work. That's effortless. Get in the operator's seat, fire it up, finish the fold process. It should drop these latches in hydraulically, and then basically this becomes irrelevant. It almost looks like it broke right there and came around. Interesting. It's always something. I don't know if there's any way to check. Well, it's not moving, so I guess we're good to go. Are you kidding me? Now my height control is not working. No comm. So I gotta go out and unplug it. Worked fine all morning. Then it quit on me. The unplug it and plug it back in trick is working. We are running 18 inches off the ground, running about 35 PSI through the booms. That thing hasn't folded back up on me, so we've hodgepodged it back together. Corn looks good. Dad showed up just in time to help with this. There we go. He didn't even know it was broken. He was just driving around checking in on things. And he found that. Technically speaking, you don't need that cylinder. For the sake of not having to do this song and dance every time, it's probably gonna have to be taken off, and my cheapest option is probably a welding shop or a fabricator to put that hook back together to go onto the boom section. Gonna have to start the unfold sequence to get this out far enough, because it's pushed all the way against this. It's supposed to wrap around that bushing in the middle. It's even pushed out the grease threading. I don't know what that is. Before anyone accuses me of not greasing this thing, I actually grease it all the time. I just never show it because greasing is one of the more mundane tasks on the farm. Nothing else looks out of position. First order of business is probably to take a picture so I remember how this goes together. It's not exactly complicated, it just doesn't hurt to have records. And then I need to decide if this is all one piece or if this is just coiled around that. I almost bet it was one piece. Look at the other side. Looks like it'd probably be one piece. They're separate, but they may have been made together. Just gonna have to take it off and look at it. Dad's here helping me take this apart.
You want to catch that?
Catch it with.
It'd be running out if it had pressure on it. Now let's put that somewhere.
Like up?
Yeah, but it'll get full of water. We'll just that one will have pressure on it.
Let's see, I'm looking at it, so I need to go
Down. Whoa! Move your bucket. Hurry!
Now, why would this one have pressure? Because it's the pressure side?
Well, it's got the thing ram out. Will that swing out? Will this boom swing out?
No, it's not going to go anywhere. It's stationary.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, if it retracted, I guess it could.
trouble to.
It's a Hagee thing. I doubt you can just buy the ram. The trip to Sloan's to price the replacement cylinder was not pleasant. You cannot buy just the ram with the hook on it. You got to buy the whole thing for the nice cheap price of $2,500. So, rightfully, we're going to explore what the welding shop has to say. Might as well at least try the cheap fix before I spend that much money on a brand new cylinder. It's crazy to me that it's that much money and you can't just buy the kit to rebuild the ram. One might call that a racket. Oh well. Rain's moving in. I think this will keep us out of the field for a while. We're mostly caught up. I had a few more fields that needed sprayed, but the wind just wasn't cooperating and the risk to reward wasn't there. Didn't want to get someone's beans or someone's garden, so we'll get it once it dries up. Can you see that bird out there? It's colored almost like a pelican, whitish and blackish, yet it looks like some sort of a hawk. I don't think it's a chicken hawk that we see around. Here it comes. What is that? Did I say pelican? I meant seagull. I asked ChatGPT what hawk looks like a seagull that you would see in Central Illinois. The likely candidate is a male northern harrier. Pictures. I don't know. Could have been that, maybe, but also I don't think so. Whatever it is has built a nest up here on this power pole. A perch, if you will. I scared it off, but I don't know what it is. Any guesses? As is tradition, it's switched to the time of year where we go from getting more rain than forecasted to less than what they were calling for. I went to bed last night thinking we'd have an inch of rain this morning, if not 2 inches. Here we are at 3/10. This is one of the new fields where we planted Pioneer 1742. One of the watch-outs on this hybrid is that it comes out of the ground rather purpley. It's a genetic thing that comes with some series of corn hybrids. Pioneer's always been known to have a lot of hybrids like this, and they really don't look that good. It will grow out of this. There's no yield implications. It just isn't too pleasant to look at. Our Pioneer salesman warned me that it may look a little rough for a week or two, but don't let that scare you away. She's a yielder, hopefully. I've completed my scouting. Before I left the field, I wanted to show you guys, this is where I started at. I came from another field. We had some DeKalb corn in, I don't know what number it was. You can see the visual difference between the two hybrids, if it even picks up on camera. So here's the first 24. Keep in mind, the 1742 would have been on top of this. So as you get around the field, it starts to intermix a little bit. Here, it's really black and white. This is the middle of the through. So 24 rows of the DeKalb corn, 24 rows of the 1742. It's not indicative of any kind of yield problems. It's just something this corn hybrid does. One of its little traits, something that really knows you got the right hybrid when it comes out looking like it's been in a bar fight a few nights before it came out of the ground. Green doesn't always mean better, and I also don't know that this hybrid's gonna be better than that hybrid. Really have no clue what hybrids are gonna win. I'm just confident in some of our Pioneer genetics. Not that DeKalb doesn't also have good corn. So there's a lot of good things to look forward to this year as long as it keeps raining, and as long as we get this field sprayed shortly before these little guys start to get momentum. It's about 70 degrees and humid outside today, overcast since the rain. There's a chance of rain over the next 4 or 5 days, almost every day. No significant totals forecasted. We'll see what happens with that. Dad and I were down around Lake Mattoon at one of the family properties cleaning up a big tree limb that fell over on a power line. I didn't record that for liability reasons. Dad gets a little hazardous at times. Wouldn't want the insurance company seeing some of that action. Some jobs are best left off camera, if you know what I mean. Earlier this morning, we went down to the welding shop in Siegel. They have worked on that hydraulic ram. Eric down there appears to have heated it and beaded it enough, if that's even proper English, to get it back around that bushing or spacer, whatever you want to call that. He thinks it'll hold and work. I may have to manually shoot grease in there every few weeks. He said he'd warranty it for as long as he could see my taillights as we left. So I think we're out of warranty now. It's got some movement in there. It's supposed to be greasable. Obviously it's not now. We'll go ahead and try to install it, see if it's gonna work. Anything to not have to pay $2,500 for a whole new cylinder. I think a fun, heavy equipment based game show would be guess the price of that part. Kind of like The Price is Right, except for much more depressing. These cylinders have the tiniest little orifice in them. Theoretically, if I'm tired of how slow this unfolds, could I bore these out slightly and increase the fold speed? Or is that a terrible idea? A couple weeks ago, I bought one of those specialty grease fitting systems from Lock and Lube. One of them's like a needle injector. It didn't really work that good in here, but where the old grease zerk is, I put it in there and we stuffed some grease in and it took it. There's a lot of play, so I don't see why it would be a big issue. We'll keep some grease in it occasionally. And yeah, I did waste some in the process. Part of it. I'm gonna get in and see if it unfolds. If so, we should be back in business until it breaks again. Could be next time we go to spray. Could be flawless until we trade this thing off. With the profitability of farming right now, I don't know that trading this off is in the works. New equipment's expensive and I'm poor. Relatively speaking, I guess. As you witnessed, I folded and unfolded it a few times. Definitely came around a little hard, I imagine because there's air in the cylinder. It slowed down after that. I don't see any reason why this won't work. Obviously, you usually don't expect things to not work till they don't. So let's just assume we're back to 100% efficiency, operational quality, whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and grease this whole machine while I'm out here, fold her up and wait for dry weather. This is that Lock and Lube set I was talking about just a few moments ago. You're all probably familiar with this, the right angle attachment. I like that for general everyday use. I usually keep one strapped to a grease gun. The rest are just rare use case. That's one of those small needle-like ones. This is a right angle tight adaptation one. So you slide over the top of that. I might need that on the grain cart. I don't really know what that one's for. Just an assortment of grease zerk gun fittings that probably all have some special use. I keep a set of these rolled up in my truck. You can tell they've not been used very much. I did just buy them a few weeks ago. I had to take a break from greasing to run into town to sign something. Driving by this field, one of our last cornfields put in the ground, got an inch and a quarter shortly after. Emergence was very uneven and spotty. I thought we were gonna have to replant a lot. Dad and I have checked it numerous times, and other than that low spot we just drove by, which is basically the field ditch out there to get the water off, we've got a full stand of corn. We were really stressing about having to come out here and spot corn in all over, yet it's almost all there. Like the other fields, I'm sure not every single kernel made it, but enough that you're not going to replant. Another day has passed. It has been muggy and misty, albeit not too warm outside. We swept out our second to last grain bin. Didn't take very long. It's not a very big bin. Then we're down to one more small bin of corn left, and we are done hauling for 2024 crop. Everything's greased. Pretty much everything's ready to go. Just need the weather to fall in line and we'll hit the last bit of post-spraying pretty hard, at least on the corn. Early beans are all done. We won't be spraying beans again. I'd say at least not for 2 weeks. The later planted stuff just isn't going to be big enough. And if the sun stays away like it has for the last few days, I don't know that we're going to get a whole lot of growth. I'm going to leave that as a discussion for a completely different video. The weekend starts tomorrow. Looks like we're going to be able to take it easy. I'm going to end the video here. I greatly appreciate every single one of you continuing to tune in and support the channel. I sure hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!